Do you often feel overwhelmed by all the little marketing tasks that pile up in your farm business? What if I told you that AI can take a lot of that stuff off your plate? I've been experimenting with it for the last few months pretty significantly, and it's blowing my mind. So today I'm breaking down 5 simple ways that you can start using ChatGPT right now to make your marketing better, easier, and faster. Let's get started.
Hey there, this is Corinna Bench, and welcome to the My Digital Farmer podcast. In today's market, it's not enough to just grow your product. You've got to know how to sell it too. Welcome to the My Digital Farmer podcast, where we reveal online marketing strategies and tips to help farmers like you get better and more confident at marketing. Learn how to find more customers, increase your sales, and build a strong brand for your farm. Let's start the show.
Well, welcome to episode 303 of the My Digital Farmer podcast. I'm your host, Corinna Bench, one of the farmers at Shared Legacy Farms out in Elmore, Ohio. I'm also the founder of MyDigitalFarmer.com, which is all about trying to help other farmers like you get more confident in your marketing and sales strategy so that you can grow a profitable farm business. How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to the show. Big shout out to all of my regular listeners, especially those of you who are binge listening. That's awesome. Welcome back. And if you're new to the podcast, I'm glad you're here today. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Go check out my first 10 episodes. That's a really good kind of starting point if you're brand new to the marketing lingo. Otherwise, just search through the archives. There's a lot of good stuff in my 300 plus episodes. You can also get onto my email list. That is a fantastic way to learn the ropes because I'm going to send you an email roughly every 5 days for about 3 months. And I'm going to drop the most important principles you need to know, some key episodes to go listen to, influencers you should be following, even some freebies that I send your way. So you can get on that email list by going to mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe. Today's episode is sponsored by my friends at LocalLine. If you're like me, winter is your downtime to plan and prep for the upcoming growing season. Set yourself up for success with LocalLine, the best sales platform built for farms. LocalLine is the most comprehensive software for farmers and food hubs that's out there, selling direct to restaurants, schools, wholesale buyers, running a CSA, and more. With features like e-commerce, automated inventory management, they have subscriptions, a box builder, point of sale, and more. LocalLine helps you grow sales. It saves you time and streamlines your operations. In fact, on average, this is cool, farms that use LocalLine grow sales by 23%, and they increase their average order size by 9.5% annually. So, ready to switch to sales software that does it all? LocalLine has no setup fees, no sales percentages, and your onboarding manager will migrate your storefront for free, so you'll be up and running in no time. As a podcast listener, LocalLine is also offering a free premium feature for 1 year with your subscription when you use my coupon code MDF2025. So to claim it, go to mydigitalfarmer.com/LocalLine and then enter that coupon code MDF2025. Don't wait. Start your season strong with LocalLine today. And now back to the show. Well, hello, everyone. This episode is dropping March 12th of 2025. And I usually record these episodes 2 to 3 weeks before they're actually going live. And I'm looking ahead at my calendar right now and noticing that today, the day you're hearing this, is the day that I'm actually planning to get onto a plane and fly to Denver with my husband, Kurt. So this is a really special week for me. I am celebrating my official healing of my illness. And if you haven't been following me for very long, you may not know this, but a little over a year ago, I got very ill with some kind of digestion problem, and I have been healing my gut over the last 12 months, trying to find my way and navigate my way through it. And about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got to the point where I realized that I think this is wrapping up. I wasn't completely symptom-free, but I could tell that I was going to be soon. And I had promised myself many months ago, when this was really bad, that I would create a milestone moment to celebrate the actual final crossing of the finish line. That was really important to me, that I was going to memorialize this experience and remember it forever. And the way I decided that I wanted to kind of place that milestone moment in my life was to create an experience that felt extravagant and abundant, and that I could invite my husband along with me, because he has certainly been a huge partner in helping me heal and a cheerleader and had to sacrifice a lot to help me. And so I wanted to do a beautiful vacation to somewhere that was gorgeous, that would allow me to be outside with nature and reflect and pray and have a holy moment, and kind of place what I call my Ebenezer stone, which is a reference to Joshua 4 from the Bible, and just kind of claim a moment in time where I said, thank you, God. So anyway, this is the week when this is happening, and we are flying to Denver. We're renting an Airbnb that's in, I want to say, Chiquita National Forest. I might be getting that wrong, but it's just outside of Colorado Springs, and it's a gorgeous house, like 7 minutes from the entrance to Pikes Peak. And we're just going to hang out there for 4 whole days. And I don't even know what we're going to do yet, but this is a really big deal for me. And I just wanted to let you guys all know that I'm just celebrating, praising God here every day, feeling full of gratitude. And it's also, interestingly, opening up, I think, a new chapter of my life in so many ways. I feel a lot of energy for helping guide people who are struggling with this particular ailment. And I have so much empathy for them, and I feel like I can offer some support. And so it's interesting watching that story beginning to unfold. I'm not sure where that's going to go, but I think I'm going to end up being a catalyst for a lot of other people, and it's exciting to see that come together slowly here. Anyway, that's what's actually happening right now. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, I am somewhere in an airport or on a plane or heading to my Airbnb, and I'm about to have 5 days of sabbatical, and I'm excited about it. So today, we're going to be talking about AI, ChatGPT in particular, and I haven't really spent a lot of time talking about this on the podcast, which is pretty surprising because I feel like it is everywhere now. I think it's more mainstream. People are getting more comfortable with the idea of using it as a tool in their business. I have to admit that I had a lot of misgivings when it first came out. I dabbled in it, but I struggled to really embrace it. I'm going to talk about that at the end of this episode, some of the objections that you may be feeling towards the tool that I still frankly struggle with a little bit, and how I'm trying to look at that and, walk around those emotions. So stay tuned. That part's coming, and I want to make sure I address that here and let you know, hey, I hear you. If you're feeling that and you want to turn off this episode because you're like, no, I'm never doing AI, maybe just hear me out and just let this sort of wash over you, because I completely understand where that feeling is coming from. But I have been using ChatGPT more and more in the last few months, getting, I think, better at using it too. And it is remarkable. It is saving me a lot of time. It's making my workflows better. My actual end product that comes out of it is a lot better. It's actually making me more creative, believe it or not. And it's getting me more excited about working on projects that before felt like a drudgery. And when I'm inside of Farm Marketing School with my members, we meet once a month for our Zoom call. I often have to remind myself that not every farmer is like me, where all they're focused on is the marketing. of the business. Most of you are wearing all the hats. You're out there doing the production too and managing the team, dealing with logistics, dealing with the financial element and getting the bookkeeping done, right? All of it is in your hands. The chores, farm chores, and the marketing. And I'm kind of one of the lucky ones where my husband's doing a big chunk of the he's doing all of the production, and I'm really doing a lot of the behind the scenes work. So I know that's kind of a unique situation. And I often forget that many of you who are listening to this podcast are trying to juggle everything. And as a result, marketing often gets pushed to the bottom of your to-do list. And there are many repetitive tasks in this marketing to-do list that take up a lot of time, right? If it's up to you, the social media posts that you feel like you've got to be on top of, the emails, the texts, the customer inquiries, the customer support, writing content, if you need to create blogs, or even just thinking through how could I pitch an offer this week to get more people to buy, updating your online store inventory, right? So there's these repetitive tasks that just keep taking up a lot of time and a lot of creative brain energy. Some of you are telling yourselves, I'm not a writer, I'm not creative, this isn't what I'm good at. And so it just feels really draining for you. But I also think a lot of farmers just don't feel confident when it comes to marketing because they haven't been trained in that either. Like, it's one thing to say, I'm not a good writer, and then, you look for evidence to support that belief, and you just keep finding it and telling it to yourself in this ever repeating cycle. But it's also just that you don't even know what the framework is. You've never been taught like how marketing works for all businesses, and that yours can fall under that same framework. And that makes it even harder. This is actually one of the reasons I created Farm Marketing School, was because I knew that most farmers didn't know the framework. And I was convinced that if you could just see the framework, and then you saw how all of the different things people are telling you, quote unquote, to do, that you should be doing, are in most cases trying to attack different pieces of the framework. And so that whole school was built to just teach you the framework and then show you step by step how to build out some of those marketing systems. But now with AI and tools like ChatGPT, a lot of these marketing tasks can be even easier to create because it can do a lot of that creative writing piece for you. It can at least create a draft, and then you can go in and tweak it. And I've just found for a lot of my farmers in Farm Marketing School that it's the coming up with the original draft that just feels so overwhelming. So I'm actually starting to incorporate the use of AI into the classes that are in Farm Marketing School. So I still have like the core class, but I'm starting to include one kind of either AI prompt cheat sheet for each workshop, or like a quick video that shows how to use the AI tool to help get this particular project done a little faster. I'm starting to try to add some of that in there as an optional element for people who want to, learn the concept and then figure out how do I use this tool to actually help me. So for today's episode, I thought I would share 5 ways that I am currently using ChatGPT in my own farm business. And these, I think, are quick wins, easy on-ramps into the platform, into the tool, that you're going to see some immediate results that are going to excite you. And because I'm actually doing all 5 of these things, I know there's a ton of other things I could be doing with ChatGPT. I didn't want to talk about things that I'm not actually using it for, because I always like to say, to kind of teach from my own experience as well, to make sure that I can say with integrity, I'm actually doing these things. So I'm going to have examples of how I've actually done this stuff myself. So, number 1, ChatGPT helps me write my weekly emails. This is my secret weapon for promo emails nurture sequence emails, and even the weekly email. So the way that I do this, I mean, you could literally just go into the prompt box and say something like, hey, write me a friendly, engaging email announcing a 10% off sale on my pasture-raised pork bundles, right? And it would write something out. That's really awesome. But I have found that it matters. You'll get a better response if you can give the AI tools some context. So I have taken the time to write a pretty long paragraph that explains the background of my business, what I sell. I stole some copy from my website and my about page. I talk through who my ideal customer is. And I've tried to just give ChatGPT a good overview of my marketing outlets, how I sell, the kinds of things I sell, my values, the things that are important to me, right? I wanted to try and get into my head and understand my business a little bit better. I've also actually fed the ChatGPT tool many examples of my emails that I've sent before. So I have hundreds of them in my archives. I copied them, pasted them, and said, I want you to read these 10 emails and analyze them for my voice, get to know how I write, notice that I like to be conversational in style. And then ultimately, I'm going to ask it to write an email in the style of my voice. So there is a little bit of work on the front end at the very beginning where you have to train the AI model so that it understands what your business is and how you talk. But once that work is done, you basically have this tool that can crank out rough drafts for you that follow a very similar style. I have also told it, hey, here's a typical format for my weekly email. Like I tend to start off with a question, then I share a quick story from my personal life, and sometimes I have an image. And then after that, I'll pull out the lesson. And then after that, there's a section that asks them to relate it to their life. And then after that, there's the offer for the week, and the PS has XYZ in it. I'll share this general template and I'll say, hey, notice that pattern in the emails that I'm copying and pasting in here. And I'll say, this is generally the style I want you to try to follow. Okay, so that's some of the work that I'm doing in the prompt box, feeding it material, and then it can use that to craft an email. Now, I've also started playing around with adding additional emails to my nurture sequence. And if you don't know what an email nurture sequence is, there's a whole project inside of Farm Marketing School all about that. This is, 5 emails that are automated, stitched together, that automatically fire and go out to your brand new subscribers. After they subscribe, they get these dripped out to them over the next 14 days to kind of introduce you to them. And I've started playing around with adding new content to just test them out and see are some of these better and more exciting. And often I will just go into ChatGPT and say something like, here's what my current nurture email sequence looks like. I would like you to write another email that I can attach as the 6th email. And I would like the topic to be XYZ. And I just say the topic. Maybe I add another sentence that gets at the gist of what I hope it will communicate. And then I just click enter and see what ChatGPT writes back. You will be amazed at what comes in the response screen. And a lot of times I will copy and paste that, put it into my email provider, and then I spend about 10 minutes adjusting it. But most of the time it's pretty good and it sounds a lot like me. Saves me a ton of time. So I want to encourage you to play around with using it to write your emails. Some of you are not writing your weekly email because to you it feels so exhausting and draining to be creative as a writer. You're telling yourself, I'm not a good writer, or you think it sounds clunky. And I just want to encourage you to to use the tool and say, here's the gist of what I want to communicate. Can you write this email in such a way that it will engage my audience? It will be interesting. It will be thought-provoking. It will be curiosity building. Like, tell the tool what you want the person to feel, and it will actually write in a way that generates those feelings. It's super interesting. So it's all about how you prompt the AI chatbot. Another thing you could try is copying and pasting someone else's work that you really like. So if you like how I write my emails and you're on my email list and you're like, man, I really like her style of writing, you could copy that, put it into the tool and say, use this style of writing an email. I like this voice. Can you make a version of it like this? And then you can go and use that as a starter and then tweak it so it sounds more like you. That's also another thing that I've heard it used for. Okay, so this might really excite you. Like, oh, wow, I could write my weekly email in under 10 minutes this week. Yes, you can. And you can even ask ChatGPT to suggest really great subject lines for your emails. So that's usually step 2 after I ask it to write the email. I'll say, now give me 10 curiosity building subject lines for this email. And then I'll usually like 2 of them, and then I'll ask it to tweak a couple of those 2 a little bit more, and then I have the winner. So I really want you to start with that. And this is going to make you write a weekly email, I promise you. So that's my first recommendation. Number 2 is social media captions. Frankly, a social media plan, but we'll just stick with the captions and content creation. No more staring at a blank screen, my friends. I am trying to do most of my social media content scheduled these days. Now, in the main season, when I'm going to be live out there in the fields, interacting with customers, and there's just a lot of content going on, and it just feels very natural to snap pictures and share them on an Instagram story, like, here's what's going on. Like I reserve room to be able to do that live in the moment. But I like to have the strategy of social media already pre-planned. That way I make sure that there are lead magnets that are getting dropped on a regular basis throughout the week, or that certain types of repeatable content that should be coming up again and again in the pipeline is actually happening. So let's just start really basic. AI can write captions for Instagram, Facebook, any of your social media outlets, for your farm promotions for your products. So just a simple example here, you upload a picture of your farm fresh eggs, or you tell ChatGPT, I have a photo of farm fresh eggs, they're brown eggs from my such and such chickens. And I would like you to create 5 engaging post ideas, period. And that's all you say. And it will write them for you. And not only will it write them for you, it will bold certain things. It will add emojis. It will add engagement question ideas. It's phenomenal. And then you can use that as, again, a starting point and update it or adjust some things or make some suggestions to ChatGPT and say, I feel like we need to add another post that's more about this topic, or I think you should add a stronger call to action in the post about blah, blah, blah. And it will adjust it and amend it right there in front of you. You can even ask it when it's all done, you can say, please put this into a Google Sheet format or a CSV file format. It will do that for you on the screen. You will be able to download it and then copy and paste it into your Google Sheet so that you can just go right to that tool and schedule it. Just copy and paste things into the Facebook scheduler. So this is a no-brainer for me. I mean, if you have the creativity to know these are the topics that I know I want posts about, you can just kind of start there. But you could also zoom out and get a little more strategic about it, which is something that I have done, especially with Digital Farmer. I've done this really well. I actually went into the tool and said, okay, I need help creating a social media promotion calendar. And I'm going to feed you a bunch of information and I want you to just take it all in, and then I'm going to explain to you what I want you to do with it. Like I'm just talking to it like a normal person. So then I fed it all the titles of all my podcasts so far. Just gave it that document. Then I fed it examples of my past emails that I write to my farmers every week. I fed it sample topic ideas for future podcast episodes. I have a whole Google Doc of just ideas and content, little snippets of wisdom and marketing post ideas, short sound bites that I could share in a story, an Instagram story, or just make an entire course around. And so I copied and pasted that and said, here's just marketing tips. I shared some testimonial copy that I save on a Google Doc, right? All this stuff, all these ideas for content, just fed it into the model. And then at the end, I said, okay, here's the kind of thing that I think should be showing up in my social media rotation every week. I think I should have a lead magnet pointing to a lead magnet every week. I should have a post of a marketing tip. I should have a post that points to my podcast for that week that just went live, and so forth, right? So I gave it the categories, the content buckets, and we talked about those content buckets in a previous episode. And then I said, using that general framework for the month of March, please craft me 31 posts that follow that framework and write them for me. And boom, it just wrote them all out. Now I had to go in and change, I don't want to say quite a little bit. I had to go in there and say, you know what, I need to add some more. This sounds too much like a machine. Or I'm going to personalize this by adding a little quick story. But for the most part, it gave me kind of the starting roots of the post. And I saw that it followed that framework and made sure that it was promoting the quote unquote correct lead magnet for the month. I was able to tell it, hey, for the month of March in Farm Marketing School, we're focusing on lead magnets. So I want most of my topics in social media to be about lead generation from all the stuff that I fed you. Let's pull from past archives and point to prior podcast episodes. Let's point to tips that I've shared in other places, right? So it was able to even do that work for me. And in a matter of an hour, I had an entire month's worth of social media stuff ready to go. And I was able to put that into a Google Doc. And then I let my virtual assistant know, hey, this is where it lives. It's your job now to go and copy and paste it into Tailwind, which is our social media app that's schedulers. And she takes care of that for me. So that's not even on my plate. So I just want you to imagine doing something like that for your farm business, right? And how much time that could save. Then you're not feeling like every day you're in the moment trying to think of something to talk about. You can be intentional about it. You can actually look at your promotion plan and be like, this is the month that I'm really trying to pitch the spring plant sale. So I want a lot of my content to be around transplants and around soil seeding and whatever, right? And you can feed that into this explanation as you're talking to ChatGPT, and it helps it better come up with stuff. Okay, so I want to encourage you to play around with that one, even if all you do is just go in there from every week and just say, hey, I need 5 social media post ideas. And I'm a vegetable farm and I'm going to be pitching, you pick strawberries in a couple weeks, whatever, right? Like just start there and see what you can come up with. Today's podcast is sponsored by Farm Marketing School. All right, farmer, let me ask you something. Is marketing your farm something you actually enjoy? Or does it feel like a constant struggle? If you are like most farmers that I talk to, you are wearing all the hats and marketing always seems to slip through the cracks. Can I get an amen? That's exactly why I created Farm Marketing School. It's an online membership designed to help farmers like you build a simple, repeatable marketing system that actually works. Inside, you'll get bite-sized, step-by-step projects that make marketing easier. Each month, you pick what to work on, like writing better sales emails or improving your website copy or setting up your online store. And I walk you through exactly how you should be doing it. And you're not doing this alone. Every month, we have a live Zoom meetup where you can ask me questions, meet other members of Farm Marketing School, get coaching, and hear what's working for other farmers. It's like having a farm marketing mentor in your back pocket. This isn't some long, overwhelming course. The projects are designed to be completed in under 30 days, so you're making steady progress without it taking over your life. So if you're ready to stop winging it and finally build a marketing system that brings in steady sales, come join Farm Marketing School today. Sign up for your first month and see what a difference it makes. Go to mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS to get started. And now back to the show. Okay, the third idea is AI-generated CSA newsletters and blog posts. Any content creation, frankly, is just in this area is going to blow your mind. You know how important it is to stay connected with your CSA members. Writing those weekly CSA newsletters, writing those blog posts takes time, doesn't it? And creative juice and energy. And when you're coming in from being outside, you just don't have it. So AI or ChatGPT specifically can generate seasonal farm updates. It can generate recipe ideas for your CSA members. It can write your CSA newsletters based on, what's available that week. You just have to go in and say, help me write a CSA newsletter. Here's the template that I've used in the past. I want it to look like this. And for this week's story, maybe you can just focus on how we're harvesting leeks this week and say something about that. And here are the products that I'm going to have in my online store, or here's the offer of the week. Can you please, using the template I put in here, can you please write one that looks a lot like it and just see what it comes up with? You will be shocked. Again, if you write blog posts, feed it a bunch of your past blogs so it can see your style, and then say, I'd like you to write me a blog post in this style of writing on the topic of blah, 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 okay, and whatever it is, and let it write your first draft. And then you can go in and correct it. Because a lot of times, I'm going to say this again, a lot of times there are small, minor errors that in the actual content. So you definitely want to be checking it and making sure that it's correct. So don't skip that step. Now, the recipe development piece is super exciting for me. Those of you who are CSA farmers, if you just put in, you could just have a standard, when you go into ChatGPT, every time you go in, there's like a prompt box. And whenever you start a new prompt, it creates like a little folder over on the left-hand side. And everything that if you decide you want to go back into that folder and continue the conversation, it remembers everything that you would put in that one particular thread. So what I like to do is create different folders on purpose. So, there's going to be one for CSA recipes. And I'll just keep going back to that same folder every time and saying, okay, using the template that we've sort of established in this folder, I want you now to create 15 recipes for the following vegetables that are going to be in my box, and make sure that 2 of them are vegan or whatever, right? And then just let it, populate. Or I might go in and say, hey, here's some sample recipes of one of the food bloggers I really like. And if you could find other recipes by this food blogger that use these vegetables and let me know what they are, see what ChatGPT comes up with, right? So those are different ways that you can use the tool to quickly go and do research for you online and find the information and bring it back to you. Or you can ask it to analyze a website, a specific website, and give you the information from that. Or you can ask it to just be creative and say, I've got these food items. You help me create a recipe list for people. It's pretty awesome. Okay, let's move on to number 4. I just did this yesterday. Let ChatGPT generate product descriptions and website copy for you. Those are almost 2 different categories. I'm going to focus mostly on the product descriptions because that's what I had to do yesterday. I was crafting product descriptions for my spring plant sale that we have every year. I'm going to be opening the doors for that on March 1st to my email list. And I wanted to update the product descriptions inside of Local Line so that they were more substantial. Before, it had just been really short stuff, like, I don't know, under 20 words. And I wanted there to be more of a format. I wanted to test that. And so now all of these product descriptions for the transplant packs included, I went into ChatGPT and I said, please help me write a product description for a zucchini plant. Here's what I had before. I want it to be optimized and I want all of these product descriptions to include. And then I had things like time to harvest, planting specs, like how far apart to plant them, planting conditions, do they like sun, do they like shade, how often to water, etc. Tasting notes and different ways that the food could be prepared, cross-sell opportunities. So I fed it like, here's all of the things that I'm going to put into the store, and I want you to use that to recommend other items that they should add to the cart in addition to this one from the product description that would go well together, right? So I had these different ideas that I sort of prompted the tool with, and then just said, okay, write me a product description. Oh, and I also included the link to that seed variety. So many of them were in Johnny's, and I just said, go check this website link out so you can see everything about this, and then use the information on that page to write a product description for me. And boom, it did. And I just looked at it. I had to change a few things a few times, and then I copied and pasted it and stuck it into the description area in Local Line. It was that easy. So we'll see if long form copy as a product description ends up selling more. I'm not sure if that will make a huge difference, but wow, was I amazed at how fast it went and how easy it was. So all you got to do is say, write a compelling product description for my pasture-raised, dry-aged ribeye steak or whatever, and see what it comes up with. Okay, number 5. You can ask ChatGPT to help you plan out a specific promotional launch. I have done this now 3 times in the last few months, and it has made this process so much more fun and fast and easy. So it will help you brainstorm offers. It will help you brainstorm giveaways. It will help you brainstorm even just the overall overarching promotional campaign and give you ideas for how you could try to get people to buy more of your spring plant sale transplants. And so what I would do is I would sit down and in ChatGPT, open up a prompt box and say, hey, give me 5 creative ideas for how to sell my spring plant sale promo. Okay, I might just start with that. And it would just spit out some ideas. And then I might say, you know what, you probably need some information about what I'm even selling. So I've asked the question, what information would be helpful for you to have so that you can help guide me in this process of building a great promotion for my spring plant sale? And then ChatGPT will tell you what information it wants you to feed into it so it can do this better. So I did that. It gave me some responses and I started to feed it that information. I gave it a list of all the products that I plan to sell in the spring plant sale. I gave it ideas for, hey, in the past, this is how I have promoted it. I have used my private Facebook group and I have written emails. Here are the emails that I wrote last year, the 4 emails that went out the week before, so that you can see how I worded it and what my voice is. And here are some ideas that I can think of for what we might want to post on social media. Like maybe we can have some engagement posts that are like question posts that get them to start thinking about transplants. Maybe I could ask them what some of their gardening problems have been in the past? Where do they struggle as a gardener so that I can create content for that? Or I could say, what are your favorite vegetables that you're hoping are going to be in the online store spring plant sale, right? So I was saying, give me some suggestions for question posts to get them to engage. Give me some ideas for maybe a giveaway, or what would be an offer that I could put together to encourage the cart value to be above $55, right? So I was just giving it all this other stuff in the next prompt. And then I said, please give me your suggestions of 10 things that I could do to promote the spring plant sale to achieve the goal of $10,000 in revenue. And it just, flew out a bunch of ideas. It was like 4 or 5 pages worth of stuff. And a lot of it was really detailed. Now, I didn't need 10 ideas, but I asked for 10 because I find that gets my creativity stirring. When I see those 10 ideas, some of them are things I had thought of. Some of them are like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And then they end up adding that particular element into my own plan. And I work together with ChatGPT and say, hey, I really like this. What if we added this element to it? And then we continue to refine that piece of the promo plan. And suddenly within 45 minutes, I have my strategy in place. And then I can say, okay, help me write these emails. And boom, it writes the emails for me. And then I can say, put the social media posts together based on what we've talked about. Boom, it writes the social media posts for me. And everything is put together. It's pretty remarkable, you guys. So I want to encourage you to sit down the next time you have to sell something, that's, kind of a bigger promotion, and just say, hey, give me 5 creative ideas for how to promote XYZ for next week's promotion. And just get the ball rolling, get the conversation started. You will be amazed at how it will cause you to follow up with another thing and then another prompt and another prompt. And soon you're going to have all kinds of ideas. All right. So to review the 5 ideas for how you can use ChatGPT to automate some of your marketing and just make it easier. Number 1 is use it to write your emails. Any of them. They could be your onboarding emails. It could be your email nurture sequence. It could be your weekly email. It could be a promotional email sequence. Number 2, writing your social media captions and content creation. Number 3, have AI help you generate CSA newsletters, recipes, and blog posts. Number 4, have AI help you generate product descriptions, website copy. And then number 5, have AI help you come up with a promotion plan for a specific product. Now, before I wrap this up, I do want to address what has come up for me over and over again, which is a little bit of misgivings around the use of ChatGPT. This was really strong for me when the tool first came out. I was very reluctant to use it. I was a little scared of it. And I'm still a little scared of it. I see the good that it can do. I can also see the bad. Maybe you're in that same position, and as a result, you may not even want to jump in at all. And if that's you, I get it. I wanted to spend a little bit of time here just talking out and owning and pointing to the feelings that may be coming up in you. And also how I have reframed some of those objections, how I'm starting to get comfortable with some of them. So the first one that I want to bring up is this idea that using ChatGPT feels like cheating. Do you ever feel that way? I should do the work myself. It should all come from me. And that somehow by using this tool that I am not being authentic, that it's not the real me, that it's actually a robot that put this together, and that this isn't really my words or my voice. And what I want to offer as a slight reframe is that AI isn't replacing you. It's enhancing your your ideas and your voice. Think of it like hiring a virtual assistant that you say, hey, I want you to draft the first version. You know how I talk. You know the spirit of the farm and the values that we have, and just put something together for me so I can approve it, so that you can go and work on higher level strategy or on your areas of giftedness. You're still in control in that situation, right? If it was a human virtual assistant and you delegated this off to them because you're like, I'm not a good writer, or this is going to take me forever, I want you to start and make a first round, you would feel more comfortable with that, right? And to me, I had to kind of get to a place where I realized, well, that's kind of what's happening here. It's just that it's very accelerated. I'm giving it to a virtual assistant of sorts. I have fed this virtual assistant all of my emails, not all of them, but a lot of them, so that it can get to know me. And I'm just asking it to write like I do. The other kind of thing that I noticed was that I've bumped up against this similar feeling in the production realm earlier in the stages of our business when we were much younger and still just trying to get the farm off the ground. We were doing everything. We had our hand from step one of soil prep to seeding the flats and watering them and transplanting things into bigger transplant trays, and then getting that out into the field and sitting on the transplanter and taking care of pest control and being the one that did it all. Like, we didn't have a team. It was us. It was us doing it, harvesting it, packing it out, washing it, driving it, putting it in the truck, driving it to the customer, handing it to them, writing the emails, like talking to everyone one by one. Like, it was just all one-on-one, and we just felt like we had to touch the product at every point in the chain in order for it to be legit. And then there was one day when we woke up as we were beginning to scale, and Kurt's like, this is psycho. Like, I got to let this go. I cannot do that for all of these customers anymore. Like, we were just getting too big. And we were like, we have to hire some people. And we felt the same exact resistance for hiring people and asking them to do some of these steps for us, because we felt like we were cheating. Like, the customer was maybe somehow expecting that we were still doing absolutely every little thing and that we weren't allowed to let other people help us. And eventually we kind of saw the folly in that, and we realized, no, it's perfectly legitimate to say, I'm the farmer and the owner of this farm, and I'm not out there weeding everything anymore. I have hired other people who have an agreement with me that that is what they're willing to do with us and partner with us to bring this to market. And so it's a very similar argument, I think, for AI. Like, I have another tool now that's helping me do this faster. And it's okay to release that to them, to it. Okay, the second objection that has come up for me, I don't know if this is coming up for you, is I'm not a techie and that AI felt really complicated. I want you to reframe that, that AI tools like ChatGPT are super simple. And they're as simple as sending a text message. I have been, especially in the last few months, ChatGPT has gotten so intuitive. They've even added, well, they just keep adding things to it, but you can go in and just talk to it. You can click a button. You don't even have to type. You can just do a voice talk and it will talk back to you, which makes it even faster. You can put it on your phone, so you don't have to come to a desktop anymore either. You don't need to be a tech expert. You can just type in a question and get an answer. You can type in a question like, please tell me what information you need from me in order to get a good response. And it will coach you on how to write the prompt so it can give you a great response. Like, to me, that just blows me away. So AI is not complicated. Just start small with one task, play around with the tool, and then build from there. Now, to get you started with this, I want to encourage you to just try out ChatGPT. If you haven't even gone and created a free account, maybe start with that. In fact, a little over a year ago, I created the ChatGPT challenge. It's a 5-day challenge. You can subscribe by going to mydigitalfarmer.com/AI, and it's free. And what it does is it's basically a daily email from me where I say, hey, go into ChatGPT, go make an account. You have to do that first. Go into the tool, copy and paste this sentence from this email here that I'm giving you, and stick it in the prompt box, hit the enter button, and see what happens. And the whole point, you're going to get a different prompt every day, but the whole point is just to show you what it can do. And if you haven't even taken the step of getting into ChatGPT yet, it's going to blow your mind. So I feel like this is a good way to kind of dabble and get into the program and see what's possible. So at the very least, do that this week. mydigitalfarmer.com/AI. And then you have to actually go and sign up for ChatGPT. It's free. Just do the free version. It's pretty powerful. And go through that 5-day challenge. Okay. Now, the third objection, this is the last one that has been an issue for me, is that I have this fear that ChatGPT is going to make the human race lazy and less creative. And specifically, I'm afraid that it's going to make me soft and less creative. I consider myself to be very creative, that this is one of my superpowers. It is one of the things that sets me apart and gives me an edge in the marketplace, frankly. And I am worried that by not practicing that muscle as much and just going to ChatGPT and taking the easy way out, that I'm going to lose my edge. Or what if ChatGPT suddenly disappears and then it gets really hard, right? It's like I'm just telling myself, you are going to weaken by allowing someone else to shine and asking for help all the time. And here's a reframe that I want to offer to you, that AI actually has made my creativity easier and more fun. I can say that without a doubt. Now, I don't know if that will always be the case, but I used to also kind of dread working on some of these projects because I did have to sit down and use energy to think about them and worry like, I'm not excited about this. And then I'm coming then from that energy of not really being excited about the promotion I ended up putting together. Like it was okay, but it wasn't like, wow. And so I would just go through the motions. But now that I'm working with ChatGPT more, I feel confident about the stuff that I put out. I'm like, dang, that's an awesome email. And I bring that energy into the room, into the process when I send it. Doing the promotion planning is actually where I've noticed it the most. When I used to just look ahead and be like, I got that spring plant sale coming up. And I got to put all that together and blah, blah, blah. But then when I started using ChatGPT and I sat down with it and I was like, hey, just help me come up with ideas. And we were riffing back and forth. I was like, wow, that's super cool. I never thought of that. I'm going to totally do that. And then I would get excited about adding it into the plan. And suddenly the process itself of building the promo became fun. It felt light. It felt easy. And then as I was putting the finishing touches and I was scheduling those social media posts and putting the email out, again, I brought a different energy into the space because I was excited. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what's going to happen with this promo. Is it going to be more fun and engaging? It feels more engaging than it used to be. And I can't wait to see what people are going to think and how it's going to, generate sales, or if it's going to. And it just heightened my excitement level. That feeling is something I haven't had in a while. And that's what I appreciate about it. Like I could share this process with this tool and it removed that dread and that heaviness, and it brought a lightness to it instead. And when I can show up in a space with energy and fun and live in my land of fun, I've noticed when blessing happens in my life. And so I am really excited to test this theory again and again this season. Like, how can I try to use this tool to help me live in the land of fun, right? To make promotion fun and light and easy again. I think it's going to mean better sales on the other side, just because of the fact that I'm showing up with different energy. Okay, so that's been a huge kind of mental shift for me, and I want to offer that to you to just consider. Maybe this will free up mental space for you. It'll make it feel lighter. You'll want to work on it, so you'll actually go work on it, and then as a result, you'll have results to speak for it. Okay. Final takeaway. AI is a tool, and it's not a replacement for you. So ChatGPT isn't going to replace you, but it's going to make you faster. It's going to make you more efficient in this work. It's going to make you more confident in your marketing. And this is one of my theme words, confidence in marketing. And that's why I'm excited to start bringing some of these ChatGPT elements into Farm Marketing School, because I'm all about that membership is just all about making you feel confident that what you're putting out there, the marketing system that you're building, that you're confident in it, that you know it works, that you bring that energy into the space. And so I'm going to be more and more providing tools within Farm Marketing School, within each of the different marketing projects, for like how you can use AI, ChatGPT specifically, to help you get that project done faster. Now, even if you just end up using one or two of these AI strategies I shared today, it's going to save you hours of time every week. So give it a try. AI might just be your new best friend. I want to encourage you to take that ChatGPT challenge. It's a 5-day challenge. You can go to mydigitalfarmer.com/AI and subscribe and just see what comes up for you. I think it's going to blow you away. All right, today's show notes can be found at mydigitalfarmer.com/303. And if you want more help streamlining your marketing, join Farm Marketing School, my step-by-step system for building a profitable farm marketing plan. You can go to mydigitalfarmer.com/FMS. Don't forget, I'm now on Instagram at mydigitalfarmer. I'd love to have you follow me there and we can talk to each other. Join my email list to get weekly farm marketing insights straight into your inbox. Go to mydigitalfarmer.com/subscribe. And I am looking for podcast guests. If you know someone doing something amazing when it comes to farm marketing, send them my way, or maybe that person is you. Reach out to me. Don't be shy. You can email me at mydigitalfarmers@gmail.com. Remember, everyone, I believe in you. I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.